How's it going, YouTube? Decode here, and welcome to episode number 4 of our Hatchet to Hero series. If you haven't checked out the previous episodes, I would highly recommend doing so before we jump into this episode. However, moving on from that, in the previous episode we managed to get our survival rating back up to 50%. Now, as you can see, we started to use a bolt action to get the Tarkov shooter tasks underway for good old Jaeger. If we go over to our gear, we've got a few additional weapons, so to speak, and some ammo, some nice ammo to be fair, in the form of AP20 and PS rounds that we can use at a later date. We also managed to pick up the compass and the woods map for the search mission task. So all in all, we managed to get some decent progress in the previous episode. But one thing I'm going to do very quickly, just go ahead and sell the compass, because we're not going to be using that. I did kind of allude to that during the course of the previous episode. If we go back to our character real quick, we'll just have a quick look to see if we have rounds for the MP5, which you do in the form of PST. So we'll just go ahead and put that on our character real quick, and we are going to go ahead and run the good old MP5 as a kind of backup weapon to our Mosin, just in case we do get into any close quarter gunfights in our first raid of this particular episode. We're just going to go ahead and pop some ammo into the storage rigs that we've currently got sat in our stash, and I'm just going to have a look at our meds to see where we are and what we are doing. So I think the best thing for us to do is to put this CMS kit in our secure container. We'll also probably go ahead and take the Vaseline out, considering we do have the quote-unquote normal painkillers to roll with in this particular episode, and we are going to keybind our splint. But before we jump into any raids, we need to go ahead and buy some backup mags, so we'll get 2 of those from Peacekeeper, and we'll also go ahead and grab our daily tasks from Therapist and Mechanic. So we have to survive a customs run, which gives us 11k rubles, a splint and some XP. And then we need to eliminate scavs on the streets of Tarkov. We probably won't end up doing that this particular episode. However, it does give us a Salewa, which we do need for shortage. So it is something that I will consider. We just need to eliminate 5 scavs on that map. It might be something we go ahead and do towards the end of the episode. And the final daily task that we do have is to find and raid or craft a Geiger Miller counter. Our best bet on that side of things would probably be to go somewhere like Interchange and get it there, but also if we do end up going somewhere like Customs, or even go into Woods, which is probably where we're going to go for the first raid of the episode, we can potentially find that in the toolboxes and the containers that hold all of the toolkits as well, or not necessarily the toolkit, sorry, but the technical items. But let's go ahead and pop our MP5 mags into our rig, and we'll go ahead and load those up with ammo, so we do have a close quarters gun available to us if we do decide we need to go ahead and use it. But I am just going to very quickly go ahead and sort out our stash a little bit there. We do have some bits and bobs from Praport to collect, which is a lot of our insurance. So if we just go ahead and receive all for the time being, we don't actually have the required space to go ahead and grab some of the bits and bobs from Praport. So we will go ahead and put some of this stuff on, just so we have a bit more of a kit going on for ourselves. The cotton beanie, this we could probably end up selling, but I do like running it as a bit of a headgear type thing. And then we are going to go ahead and just load up our TV 106-109 rig with some of the bits that we did just grab off of Prapor as well, meaning we have freed up a little bit more room in our stash to go ahead and grab a few more bits from him. I'm going to go ahead and probably I want to grab this storage rig if I have the room for it, because at least this way we'll be able to go ahead and put the likes of the gas wielder glasses and the mask inside there. And then we can also grab this helmet, which I think we could have room if we did something like this, just to stash the helmet inside a rig for now. And then if we go ahead and open up the pillbox, we should also be able to grab the armored rig that we got back from insurance also. So we do have a bit of limited room now in our stash, so we need to be a little bit more wary of that. And I think we also need to, in this episode, go ahead and see if we're able to start getting stuff for our hideout upgrades. But if we go across to our tasks, we do need to dehydrate ourselves in any map. If we can do that in woods, as well as doing Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and 2, we will go ahead and do so. However, we don't necessarily have to do it on woods, it just recommends do not risk. In fact, it's the complete wrong task. I was thinking of something completely different. We need to stash 2 bottles of water and 2 Iskra ration packs. We can buy the bottles of water from therapists, so I think we'll go ahead and do that before we load into this particular run. At least that way we have them on our person, ready to go ahead and stash those on woods. And then with the Iskra ration packs, I'm pretty sure with therapists we can barter with syringes. Yeah, we can. Okay, so I think woods is definitely the play to go ahead and try and grab the syringes, because we can go to somewhere like med base, or we can go to USEC camp, something like that. And I also feel that woods is going to be our best bet to go ahead and get Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and 2 finished. We just need to eliminate one more scav over 40 meters. Oh, sorry, 2 more scavs even over 40 meters with a bolt action without iron sights, and then we just need to hit a target, whether it's a player or a scav, in the legs from over 40 meters away as well. That does give us some more storage rigs, which means that we may have to do a little bit of jigging around in the stash to go ahead and actually be able to grab all of that. I'm going to sell this VPO, thinking about it. I don't see myself ever really using this VPO. I did try and use it in the previous episode to try and get the kills or some damage for the Tarkov shooter task. However, it didn't really work out in our favour, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that and just keep hold of the Mosin as our bolt action for the time being. We do have a model Remington 700, or Remington model 700 even, that we could use at some point. We just need to put a sight on there in due course to actually get the full benefit of using the Remington sniper rifle, because without a sight it's not the best weapon in the world. It does kind of limit us in terms of being able to go ahead and excuse me, aim down sight and aim a little bit further down sight with regards of potentially getting a kill. And now that we have this pillbox back, I am very tempted to go ahead and run that in the next raid. So if we go to the sorting table, which I can't actually remember where we find that, we'll go ahead and have a look for that in just a second. In fact, it is up the top here. So if we grab the pillbox out of the MBSS here and just put our 2 water bottles in there, pop the MBSS into the other MBSS, and then we'll also go ahead and pop our armored rig that we had in the pillbox into one of our MBSSs. This pillbox does give us a little bit more looting room, so if we do find things that we want to grab hold of and obviously bring out of raid, then we have the opportunity to do so a little bit more freely with the pillbox than we do with the MBSS backpack. But regardless, that is enough yapping from myself. We're going to load into a woods raid, see if we can smash out these 2 Tarkov shooter tasks, as well as stashing the water bottles in ZB014 and ZB016, and hopefully we can get lucky enough to find the Iskras we need to also stash in those 2 bunkers as well. We're going to go ahead and load into a afternoon raid, because nearly 2 o'clock in the morning is going to be a little bit too dark for us without night vision goggles. Plus, a lot of people running in woods at the moment at night time are running thermals, so we need to be wary of that side of things when we do load into a nighttime run, if we ever do so. It'll probably be more of a transition raid that we load into woods when it comes to the nighttime side of things. But anyway, we're going to load into a woods run and see if we can get some more progress on our tasks. Alrighty, so first raid of the day, and we've had a really good spawn actually to go to ZB014 right off the rip. We are going to go ahead and grab the MP5 just in case anyone that spawns over towards the scav house side of things pushes towards our direction whilst we're down here planting our objective. But with regards to the loading time, we actually didn't have to wait too long. It was only, I would say, a maximum of 2 minutes before we ended up loading into our first raid of the episode, which, if I'm honest, is actually really, really handy, because it means that we didn't have to sit around and wait for the loading time or the raid to load. It also does mean that there's a fair few more players, should I say, in the raids at the moment. We are recording this at 9:30 on a Saturday, so it's probably prime time for a lot of people that are able to play at this time of the week and the day. So we do have to factor that into our thought process and our rotations, because instead of having a bit more free reign, so to speak, on the map, we'll probably have a few more PMCs to worry about, but that's fine. That is part and parcel of how Tarkov is played. We do have friends from the west, so if we do get into any PvP, especially against USEX, we will be in a good spot to try and get a little bit of progress towards that side of things. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and check over by checkpoint up here, just to see if we can spot any movement down there. We are going to swap to our Mosin as well. So we haven't heard any SVD shots. That sounded like it was over towards where I was originally going to go, which was the USEC camp. I don't see movement down towards the checkpoint. I'm obviously looking for scavs over PMCs right now in terms of movement over there. But we will run across to this kind of rock formation here, and then we'll start walking again. Ideally, we will run into scavs more than players, just so we can get Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and 2 sorted and finished. But at the same time, with Woods being kind of as active as it is in recent times. Okay, that's definitely Sturman. I'm not really too fussed about him. We just want to try and get in and out of this raid and get a few tasks underway and progress through. We are going to... Oh, there's a Salewa here, that's huge. That'll be a task done if we can get this out. If I can actually pick it up, there we go. Check for Violet whilst we're here, because why not? No Violet spawn, unfortunately. But we do need to be a little wary now, because the SVD shots may attract people that are currently looking to hunt Sturman. And we are in a prime area for PMCs to roll through towards the land limit. However, if you don't have a good spawn for Sturman, which unfortunately people over by the USEC camp won't really have a great spawn for him, they'll probably end up just leaving him be, because by the time they get down here, he'll more than likely be dead from the people that have a bit of a closer spawn. We did have a decent spawn for Sturman if we were looking to try and eliminate him, but we're not quite at that task yet, and also we don't really have the gear set to be able to go ahead and fight Sturman, in my opinion. So I think the best option for us will be to go back down towards ZB014, solely because I don't really want to take on any of the fights that might be happening over towards USEC camp. And I want to try and avoid the lumber mill at all possible, because as soon as that SVD rings out, the people that are hunting Sturman do end up going over there very, very quickly. And our main objective now is to get out with this Salewa, but also hopefully find a scav or two that we can finish off the tasks that we're looking to finish off. That Iskra's huge because it's very handy for us to stash in ZB014 as we go back over towards that area of the map. We're not going to use US ammo, so we'll just take that for the XP, for the looting XP, and then we'll just go ahead and pop it back. Obviously, any and every ammo will be handy to us in this particular series, but I just feel it's going to be a bit more beneficial if we take it and then drop it back off, solely because it's not really an ammo that I want to be loading into any sort of weapons that can take that particular caliber of ammo. But finding that Iskra is huge for us because it means that we can go ahead and just place it in the same location as we popped our water bottle just a moment ago. But other than Sturman popping off shots and some return fire, as well as a fight over towards USEC, we haven't really heard too much going on across the map. I don't know if that's got to be a scav right now, Pilgrim. Okay, so that's the leg shot for that task done. We do need to get a... Okay, we did kill the scav. I was about to say, we need to kill scavs over 40 meters too, so we need one more kill on the scav over 40 meters. And I do really want that Pilgrim, but at the same time it does make us stand out like a sore thumb when it comes to a daytime raid. But if we can have a big backpack like that, because we do have the Pilgrim already in our stash for the task when we get to it. So if we can have a big backpack like that, it does open up a world of possibilities when it comes to the looting aspect of Tarkov. Why can't I just vault over that? That was really frustrating, but we ended up getting it anyway. I don't think that is the same scav right there. So I don't think we ended up killing him, which is really frustrating. I thought I killed him solely because the scav was led on the floor for quite a considerable amount of time and didn't shoot at us. But we now have the kill secured. Sturman is still up, which is very, very interesting. I would have thought someone would have killed him by now. But let's just go ahead and see if this scav has anything for us, as well as popping all of our loot into the Pilgrim. I'm going to drop the pillbox solely because we won't... Well, we do have room for it in the stash in the MDSSs. But if we can go ahead and just grab the... That is at us, but I don't know where from. It's like to our left somewhere over here. Just trying to see if we can get a better angle on the scav that is trying to kill us here. Although I cannot see him for the life of me. So I'm a little confused. He's definitely over here. There he is. Okay, so that's both Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and 2 sorted. It's now just a case that we need to get out of this map alive. Plus, I think I'm going to need to heal because the scav from the Toz did headshot us. Thankfully, the helmet that we're wearing did save us. But if we can get out of this raid now, that does mean that we've got Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and 2 done, and we've got Shortage done because we have the Salewa. And that should realistically be our aim now. The downside is we do have a Pilgrim on our back, which is bright purple, and it is a daytime run, meaning that we could end up being seen by a PMC very easily. There's another scavcom over here, but again, I can't seem to locate them very easily. I'm not going to wait around too long. If I can't find them, I'm just going to move on. I can't see them. They're probably inside the house or on the back side of the house that we came from. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them for now. I might have another look when we're over at this rock face to our direct front, just to see if there's any movement over towards Scav House that we can see quite easily. But right now, I cannot see them for the life of me. And this Mosin's been quite handy, to be fair. It's been one of our better weapons to use, especially for these early tasks. There are still some shots going down over towards Lumber Mill, so I'm just trying to think of a way that we want to traverse the map. Because we don't really, if we can help it, want to be going down the shoreline. So I just have a feeling there's going to be a rat or two sat in bushes over this way, waiting for the person that's killed Sturman to come rolling through. So I think we might have to kind of cut back up towards Sniper Rock, go under Sniper Rock and round that way. And sometimes you can see if the extract over in the far corner is open from this side of the map, but we are a little too far away, it seems, to be able to actually see that from where we are. But I'm going to grab pretty much everything and anything we can loot-wise, solely because we do have the space now when it comes to being able to loot. That P90 may end up using it in the future, but at the same time I'm just not too sure. It might be something we just sell for a little bit of resource, to be fair. But then the P90 is a really nice weapon to be able to use, just because of its high fire rate. Don't see any movement down towards the attachment shack, so I am going to move over this way. But I am going to bring out the MP5 just in case. And we are on full auto just in case we need to spray down any scavs or players alike. But we will just slow our movement down a little bit just in case. Because we don't want to be caught sprinting out in the open if we can help it. Okay, so it doesn't look like anyone's been here. And this is one of the main reasons I like coming here. You can get a decent amount of suppressors, you can get some muzzle brakes, you can get some attachments, you can get food, drink, and then over here you can also get some very nice ammo. But I'm not overly fussed about the ammo right now, if I'm honest. We'll go ahead and drink the whole of the Grand Juice and the Vita Juice. Even though I just said I'm not too fussed about the ammo, if we can grab the ammo whilst we're here, especially like the 7 and 40, and anything else that might seem like it's going to be beneficial to us, then we will. But I still feel like our best bet to maneuver through the map is going to be up towards Sniper Rock underneath and then back round, solely because of the fact that Sturman has been up this raid, and there might well be a reasonable amount of players over towards like Sturman's area, or the lumber mill, should I say. As we are moving back through the map, I'm just going to bring up the Mosin just to be on the safe side, just in case we see anything in the distance moving around us. But one thing I will say about the Mosin, every single time I take it out and every single time like I swap weapons with it, it always kind of, not throws me off, but it always kind of gives me a bit of a jump scare, because it sounds like there's someone like swapping weapons next to me. And I know that's not the case, but every single time it happens, I'm always a bit jumpy. I'm always, oh, there's someone nearby, someone's just swapped a weapon on me, or ADS or something in those lines, which in reality, that's not what's happened. But my brain just kind of goes to that thought process very quickly. And I do find that this game can make you very paranoid very easily as well, in terms of the actual gameplay. Just because you never really know what's around the corner. But we are going to go kind of up and around, rather than straight through the tree line to our right. Just because the tree line to our right is a very high traffic area, or at least it has been in my previous raids on previous wipes. Solely because there's a lot of players that do enjoy kind of getting Sturman and coming around this way to try and X for like outskirts or ZB014, depending on what they've got. So we are going to walk to regain our stam now that we're in a bit more of a secured location with a bit more cover. But we're also going to make sure we scan the like the tree line in front of us, but also up on the hill, just in case there's anyone lurking nearby. And I've got to remember that all of my slots are filled, which does mean that if we do end up using the MP5 in a fight, we will be dropping mags when we reload. And one habit that I need to get into as well is dropping my bag when I get into a fight, especially with players. Because if I try, in the past I've tried fighting with like a bag on my back, and either the fact that I've had a bag on my back, especially the likes of the Pilgrim, it's given me away, or it's slowed me down and not allowed me to kind of traverse through the map how I would normally do so. But I am going to do a little bit of a run towards the tree line in front of us. Just a quick check on that small rock face to our right as well. Ensure there's no PMCs in the local vicinity. That was a scav coming over towards the lumber mill, it sounded like. I don't see anyone on Sniper Scout Rock. I did not want to jump there. Whiffed our shot right. I'm not going to stand there though. I was trying to hold my breath with the left alt, which is the hold breath keybind that I currently have in regards to this game. But unfortunately I fat fingered the spacebar, meaning that I did end up jumping instead. Was kind of hoping that we could land the shot in the scav there. Unfortunately we did kind of whiff off to the right. But that's fine. But in and around this area I am going to walk, because people do end up going to Sniper Scav Rock quite a bit if they're going, especially if they're going for like Shooterborn, or if Sturman's up and they want to oversee the lumber yard or lumber mill. I can't even remember what I keep saying for it. But they do like to sit up there quite a lot. Plus this is an area that scavs can spawn fairly frequently, and I don't want to be caught sprinting much like before if there's anyone nearby. I'm going to very quickly check this little tent area, because you can have food and drink spawn here, like there's milk and there's also the juice there, and there's also some food. If I'm going to drop anything, it's probably these two, to be able to go and grab some food real quick. So we have managed to top up our hydration, but our energy is looking not super low, but it's looking like we'll need to top it up fairly soon. But I am going to make my way through the map fairly quickly now. So we've got past the initial choke point I wanted to get past, which was the lumber yard, lumber mill, whatever you want to call it. There's a few shots behind us as well. But I can't for the life of me remember where ZG016 is. And I always end up finding it a lot easier, obviously when it's open. And if it is open, it's going to be beneficial for us, because it means we can go ahead and plant this water bottle, and then also get out of the raid at the same time. From memory, it is in and around like the area we are right here. There we go. I was about to say, I don't spot it very easily unless the exfil is open. Thankfully for us it is this time around. So we are just going to go ahead and push over towards this area. We will walk through here though, just in case there is anyone down here, but it looks like we are okay. So we're going to place the water bottle, and then we're going to just check the stairs as we do so, make sure no one pushes down as we're doing this. And then we'll probably go ahead and just exfil after this. We'll loot up anything we can really in this little bunker. because as I said, this is our exfil, meaning we can just go ahead and exfil from the raid right here and now, which does mean that we'll get 3/4 of the tasks done for Jaeger, and it also means we'll get 2 other tasks done for Jaeger and shortage done for Therapist, which opens up a few more things to do on customs. We'll go ahead and loot that ammo, but we will drop it back off once we have gone ahead and grabbed it just for XP purposes. This is an armor plate. Okay, we'll go ahead and grab that. I think we might need that SVD like this at some point in the future. We'll drop the ammo and grab the helix, and then we'll also try and loot this crate if we can before exfil. So just a kite and an MP443 handguard, but regardless of that, that was a successful first raid of the episode. It was a very quick first raid of the episode, only basically 20 minutes, but we did end up grabbing completion on 3 tasks. We just need to hand in the Salewa that we picked up for the Therapist, and also complete the tasks that we had going for Jaeger as well. So I think now that we've got those tasks done, it might be a case that we run a few maps that will give us the opportunity to upgrade our hideout, but we will have a look at what we need to upgrade the hideout before we choose our next map. But first and foremost, let's turn in the tasks that we have just completed. So we now have Operation Aquarius and also sanitary standards to get done. So we need gas analyzers, and we need the key to get into the water room and dorms, which I think is 104 if I'm not mistaken. And then we will go ahead and just complete Tarkov Shooter Part 1 and Part 2, meaning that we now have Part 3, which is to get PMC kills from less than 25 meters away whilst using a bolt action rifle. To be fair, thinking about it, we could have kept hold of the VPO for this task, but the AP ammo is our best bet with that particular bolt action to get kills at a close proximity. So in some ways I'm quite happy we didn't end up going ahead and keeping hold of it, because we don't have the ammo for it right now. But at the same time, I would have liked to have kept hold of it just in case we found any of the AP ammo along the way. So we do have a fair bit of room in our MPPV rig to store some of our loot. I can't remember if I need the woods map, so I'm going to keep that down the bottom. We'll probably sell the fire steel and the SMT. The whiskey I know is a barter, so we'll keep hold of that for now. I can't remember for the life of me if we need this attachment, so I'm going to go ahead and sell it for the time being. And then if we do need it, so be it, we'll end up using it in the future. We'll sell this sight attachment for now. Zibbo will keep hold of, Pox Ram will keep hold of, BT ammo will definitely keep hold of. The slickers can be sold for the time being, so can the jerky we found. The humpback is a barter trade for a car medkit, and we will keep hold of the armor plate as well. And the euros we'll just put into the empty slot even up the top. So first and foremost, let's just barter our humpback for a car medkit, just like so. And then if we go ahead and sell to we'll sell to Jaeger, start getting some Jaeger money going like so, and then we'll sell this to Peacekeeper. And the fire steel we're not going to need for a while, and it's 39k, so we might as well go ahead and sell that to Therapist. Okay, so if we go now to our hideout, what do we need to upgrade this hideout? The main things I want to focus on is the stash, because obviously the bigger the stash, the more room we're going to have. So for level 2, we need WD-40, nails, screws, a hand drill, and 2.5 mil. When we go to the med station, all we need from here is the vitamins, a syringe, and 2 bandages. The bandages we can buy off of Therapist with ease. Heating wise, we need matches and workbench. We need, okay, workbench we can actually start doing, because we can buy that straight off of mechanic. And just like that, we have our workbench sorted, which does mean we have access to crafting gas analyzers, but we do need the GM counter, AA batteries, magnets and wires for that side of things. That's not an issue, we can certainly look to get that sorted. Laboratory wise, we need soap and an owl, or AWL, whichever way you want to say. So there's a few different bits and bobs that we do end up needing for the hideout upgrades, but we're not going to take the Pilgrim in for this next run, and we're not going to take the Mosin in either, so the Mosin can come out down here. We will use the MP5 however, but I think we are going to go ahead and swap our armor out, and we're going to put in this MPPV rig, and then we will go ahead, if I can move that up, and just take our meds, spare ammo and magazines out, and then put what we can into this rig here. PP19 mags we're probably going to go ahead and just sell, solely because I don't feel like we're going to be using a PP19 anytime soon, so let's just put in the stuff that we don't want to get rid of by accident. PP19 mags, the buckwheat I think we can sell, and then the kite we're just going to keep hold of and put down here. So if we go to Jaeger, he doesn't take any of that, that's fine. Let's sell that here, and then we'll sell the mags to Peacekeeper to get some money with him as well. So we do have a little bit of space in our stash, but not a huge amount. But we can start making use of our the 6B516 armor that's in our MBSS backpack, just so that way we have the opportunity to what am I trying to say? We have the opportunity to store some more things, essentially. We want to put that on 8, put that on 7. So I'm feeling like going to the likes of Interchange to see if we can get some of the bits and bobs we need for the hideout. We don't actually have any tasks on Interchange at this present moment in time, but if we can go there and potentially just grab a bunch of loot, come out and keep going, that'll be fine. Plus we can have a quick look for the likes of the gas analyzers. I know there's an event currently going on, or just recently gone on, with the likes of Killer and Together being on Interchange, so we will need to be a little bit wary in case there are people hunting those two bosses, and we will also need to be wary of the bosses ourselves. But the way that I want to do this is I want to kind of just rotate around the back of the mall, and at least that way we'll be able to try and avoid as much confrontation as possible, and also potentially get the stuff that we need for the hideout upgrades. Obviously without a backpack we're not going to be able to go ahead and get a hand drill, but the thought process behind not bringing the backpack is to go to the no backpack extract, and if we do find a scav with a backpack, that'll be handy as well. So let's go ahead and load up a Interchange run. We're going to go at basically 5:30 in the morning, because with Interchange it doesn't really matter too much what time of day you're going, especially if you're going to be running the inside of the mall but around the back, because there is lighting there, and it's just going to be a safer option than going during the daytime in my personal opinion. But regardless of that, guys, and I don't know why I said that way, regardless of that, we're going to jump into an Interchange run. First different map of the series outside of Woods and Ground Zero, and fingers crossed we can get some stuff for our hideout. If we find a backpack, we'll traverse to either the Railway Exfil or Emacom, depending on what we have, and just hopefully get out with a bit of loot that will help us towards upgrading our stash and our hideout in general. Alrighty, so we are into the first Interchange run of the series, and I feel like I don't know whether I want to put the power on or leave it off, So if I turn it on, there might be people that, oh, there's a guy down at the power station, we'll go and push there, we'll try and get a kill, that kind of thing. But at the same time, if I turn it on, people might be dissuaded from coming over to this area of the map. But I'm not really planning to be here for that long. I just want to loot up the PCs, loot up the toolboxes, and move on to the next section of the map. Just heard a bit of action go down inside the mall, at least it sounded like it was inside the mall. But right now we're just going to go ahead and grab anything and everything that we find whilst we're here. And then we can be a little bit more picky choosy about our loot moving on from there. That Tetris is actually really nice to find, so we're going to go ahead and put that into the secure container. At least this way, if we do end up dying, we've got a little bit of money on us that we can go ahead and use or sell to the likes of therapists, etc. The drill we don't actually need right now, but I know we're going to need in the future. But we'll leave that where it is for the time being. And the reason I'm looking in the filing cabinets is the filing cabinets are a good way for us to find keys, and that logistics key is going to be handy for a regular quest coming up, so we will go ahead and put that into the secure container as well. No car unfortunately, so if we did end up finding like some really good loots like GPUs and stuff, we wouldn't be able to just exfil from the raid, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's not always going to be up on this map, so we can't complain too much. I'm pretty sure the HDDs are needed in the future, so we will go ahead and pop those in the rig for now. But we are going to see if the stash is here, which it is. Lovely jubbly. I'm really tempted just to drop them, you know, actually. You know what? We are going to go ahead and do that. Let's put the cricket in. I don't think we need the cricket. I think we've gone ahead and done the upgrades that require that. We do need matches, however, so that is something we need to be on the lookout for. And I would also like to find some bits that do start pushing us towards the completion of some upgrades in our stash. But it sounds like Together and Killer are still on this map because those shots sound very much like them. But right now, outside of just getting the stuff for the hideout upgrades, coming to this map will be nice to just get some money under our belt as well. We'll take that PSO scope, even if we don't end up using it, we can go ahead and sell it as I just mentioned. So once we've checked to see if the stash is here, we're going to go up round the back of the mall. And whilst we're here, we're just going to go ahead and eat this champagne. We will actually drop the cricket because, as I said, I think we've done everything we need to do with that. And this Tetris, if I'm honest, and the Ollie logistics key are two things that I would like to get out with, hence why they're A in the container, and B, I'm not too fussed about pushing into them all entirely. However, the shots that I am hearing, they do sound like they're in and around the area of the map that we're going to push towards, which is the back of Goshen. And I have a feeling that with Together and Killer both being on this map currently, if the event is still going on, there's going to be a fair few players coming through the areas of the map that they're currently spawning at, which means that we may end up running into a PMC or two at the back of Goshen. But that is the trade-off that we're willing to take in order to try and find the bits and bobs that we need. I'm pretty sure we have Emacom as an exfil. If we find a backpack, we do. But normally around the back of Goshen you can find a lot of technical bits, which is why I'm really happy that we got the spawn that we did. I'm just checking this door over here as we walk around the back of the mall here. There's some metal scissors which we don't need right now but could come in handy in the future. Another thing we actually need to look out for is the measuring tape. If we can find a measuring tape, that means we can unlock security in the hideout, which is going to be another plus for us. But right now, nothing really to write home about when it comes to things for the hideout. We do have another defuel here, and we have space to take these metal scissors. So if anything, we have made some money this run. The whole point of this run, as I said, is to just try and get stuff for the hideout. But also, if we don't find stuff for the hideout, we're just going to look to make a little bit of money as we go. We did just hear, I think, what sounded like a single shot from something nearby. The water filter we're not too fussed about right now because we don't have access to the flea for another 4 or 5 levels. I can't remember what level we ended up getting last raid. This is really nice to see actually, which is really annoying, so don't really want to be popping our Willer's wallet in here. So I think we're just going to have to go ahead and get rid of this and put the RFDI or however you say it. I'm pretty sure it's the RFIDR even. You have to put that into a bit of a vulnerable slot if we do end up coming up against any players as we rotate through to this exfil. But right now, this particular raid has been very fortunate for us with the spawn, because it allowed us to come directly to where we're looking to move through the map. But B, spawning down at power and finding a Tetris is always a nice thing to see. Pretty sure that was a grenade we just heard go off, rather than a shot. Anything in here? We don't need a D-bat, we need the AA bat. I will take the pliers for now because they can barter for a... pretty sure it's the elite pliers, and we do need those for... what do we need those for? We need those for a couple of things actually. I'm gonna leave the site there. Let's go ahead and loot this box here. And then we'll continue on our way through the back of the map. So I'm going to go ahead and grab as much as I can here in terms of XP value. XP and XP, and then we'll take our nails and our screws back. There's another weapon crate here. Another thing that we're looking for from the weapon crate is like an upgrade on armor potentially. Even though the armor that we do have on seems to be pretty darn good at tanking damage, and it has been very good at doing that for a while now. There's Vaseline here, so we're going to drop a tape for that. And US ammo, much like I said before, not really an ammo we're looking to take and use. So that particular either grenade pin or shot, whatever it seemed to be, sounded a lot closer than I would like for comfortability. But we're now really looking for a measuring tape across the back wall here. I have found quite a few measuring tapes in this area in the past. There is a toolkit there. I have just seen the measuring tape, which we are going to drop the blue tape for in this instance. And this does get us our security unlocked for the hideout. So if nothing else, we've at least unlocked one bit of our hideout and got a few items that are worth a little bit of money for us. We're going to go ahead and drop that for this. We'll grab the water filter for some XP. that screwdriver is actually going to be really handy for bartering. I think the barter with the screwdriver is for a SKS, like a reasonable SKS. Don't need the kite, even though we could go ahead and pick it up for XP purposes. We do need the wires. So in that case, we're going to drop the pliers for the wires instead of having those take up a slot that the wires could have been in. The downside to this particular raid is obviously we haven't come across any PMCs or scavs to potentially have an engagement with. And I'm wondering if it's worth us going into the back of Emacom here. So obviously Emacom does have PCs, it does have a decent amount of tech spawns as well. The only downside is, and it also has the potential of scavs, the downside of going in there is Emacom can be a very high traffic area for PMCs, so that is something we need to be a little bit wary of as well. That hose would be really nice, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that and take the hose. D-fuel right now we don't need, so we'll take the nuts instead. The D-fuel's nice for like sanding purposes. I'm pretty sure you need D-fuel for the hideout later as well. And there might also be a barter for the D-fuel. But right at this present moment in time, it's not worth as much to us as the likes of bolts are. Even if we don't need the bolts for a hideout upgrade just yet, there's also a bunch of crafts that do need the bolts. Whereas the D-fuel, as I said, is a bit more of a money-making item, and we have a reasonable amount of money on us with regards to the Tetris. Pretty sure the Tetris also barters for a Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, unless they've changed that trade. I've decided I'm not going to go into Ollie. I'm just going to kind of come around the back here, see if there's a toolkit here, see if there's a couple of toolkits in there, and then just push on to exfil. And I'm still looking to probably take the no backpack rather than going over to Emacom, even though it is still relatively early in this raid. There is always a possibility that there is a exfil camper, so we need to be obviously wary of that. So someone's come through here, considering that this scav is dead. The one in front of the scav that we killed anyway. There is a fairly big rig there, but we're not too fussed about that. And we're not really too fussed about going into Ollie, as I said. Just have a quick look at this toolkit, reload our mag, and then we'll be on our way. At least with the kill on the scav, we do need these nails actually. At least with the kill on the scav, we're going to get rid of the screwdriver and take the nails instead. At least with the kill on the scav, we've got a bit of XP from this raid. I probably could have got away with putting the MP5 into single fire rather than having it on full auto. There is another scav over there, which I am tempted to excuse me, tempted to try and take down for a bit more XP.
Вот он!
Don't need that Saiga, but we will take the XP from looting it. Bit like the XP from looting this. They do have a Dr. Disrespect body armor, but I'm not going to drop my armor for that. However, that is PS ammo. And PS ammo is quite tasty. Just trying to figure out what I drop for it though. And I honestly don't know right now. Might be the sewing kit actually, thinking about it. Even if we just take one stack of the PS ammo, because we do have a little bit already in the stash, and we've made a bit of noise here, meaning that there's always a possibility for a player to be rolling towards our location through interchange, or even through the back of Ollie as well. So those shots sound like they're towards the back of Goshan. I am just going to sit over here and repack the PST rounds into the mag we ended up using. And then we'll move forward with this raid. So hearing the shots over that way, I am very tempted to just try our luck with Comi-Con. And I hope that there's no one sat over here already to camp this exfil. But my thought process is to go down to the area the stashes can spawn, and then roll up the top edge of the map. I really want this site. But then again, I guess the hoses we can drop for now. The site will be handy to use on something like a VPO if we take it into a longer range map like Woods, or even into customs, into any map really. Right, there's no scabs down here at this present moment in time. There's a bit of squash there, but I would rather just get out of this raid than try and faff about with energy. But we are going to see if the stashes are over here, and if they are, if it's got anything reasonable for us. No stash there. No stash here. Okay, so there's no stashes there. In that case, we are just going to get out of this run. Not really what we are hoping for in terms of the loot aspect. I was hoping for a little bit more across the back of Goshan there. But getting the tape measure to be able to get security unlocked is very, very handy. The Tetris is really nice. The Ollie logistics key is huge, because it means we don't have to worry about trying to find it later on down the line when we come to the task that requires us to go into Ollie logistics. I am trying to scan the back fence line as we run up to Comi-Con here, just to ensure I don't see anyone kind of sat over that area of the map waiting for people to come to this exfil. Obviously, with the current season in Tarkov, some of the bushes aren't as good as they would be normally for people to sit in, but then again, people will still sit in them, lay in them, etc. In and around certain exfils, or even just in general. Don't get me wrong, each their own playstyle, is just not for me. But we are level 12 off the back of that raid. I think, yeah, off the back of the raid we are level 12, so we're only 3 levels away from the flea market now, so that's actually really handy. Go ahead and apply the therapist healing for the little bit of damage that we didn't heal with our IFAK. And then we'll see what we can get for this Tetris in terms of barters and also in terms of monetary value. We do also want to upgrade or not even upgrade, but install the security. So if we go into hideout real quick, which was the main aim for that particular run, was to try and get some upgrades in the hideout. I completely forgot we needed security when we came in there earlier, but we do have that unlocked, so we'll go ahead and unlock it. So do a spark plug for the generator. That is one thing we need to look out for as well. I'm pretty sure we actually looted one very early on in the series, but we ended up getting rid of the not links, so sorry, we're getting rid of the getting rid of it. So if we take off barters and then go link search, or is it required search? Okay, so it is a Bitcoin, but I can't actually see what the barter is for this Bitcoin, and it's also for the toy gun, which I don't think we're going to end up using, especially considering it's only got a 20 round mag. But it is nice to know that a Tetris can trade for a weapon if we needed it to, but as we know it can trade for a Bitcoin, we are going to go ahead and keep hold of that. We'll put our site that we picked up on our ADAR for now. The Oddly Logistics key we will go ahead and put at the top of our stash, and then we can go ahead and put something like I was about to say something like that, but I'm pretty sure we have another I swear we had another IFAQ, unless this is the IFAQ we found. So it's not in there. It's not in there. It's not in there. Okay, I might just be making that up in that case. I don't think we definitely have one, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. We'll put that in here, and then we'll go ahead and just put the bits for the hideout down the bottom. So we do need to start thinking about stash space here, because we are running out of it very, very quickly. So it's a case of now thinking, what do we actually want to use in terms of weapons, but also what do we think we're going to be using in the near future. So I think the P90, the P226R, and the ammo for the P90 we can just get rid of. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that to mechanic, just to get some money spent on him. What else can we get rid of here? Don't know why I took that FMJ ammo into that raid, by the way. Wasn't really thinking at that point in time. The 2 milks we can get rid of, so let's get rid of those to Jaeger. We can actually get rid of this to Shonka as well. I don't think we need this white tape. We definitely don't need that defuel right now. The survival lighter, I'm pretty sure, is what we can barter with the Tetris for the Bitcoin, but I am going to go ahead and get rid of that too. And if we go to therapist, I'm going to sell the Tetris. I know I was contemplating keeping hold of it, but with the stash space as low as it is right now, I'm just going to go ahead and sell it. Same with the woods map. I'm also going to go ahead and sell this because I don't feel like we're going to be needing it anytime soon. The cassette tape we can sell to Peacekeeper, and that way we can get a little bit more dollary dues from him. And that does free up a little bit more room for us in the bottom of our stash. Let's just hit back a second and move the BET ammo up here. And then if we go to mechanic, we can, not mechanic, sorry, Peacekeeper, we can sell our cassette tape to him. So I am very tempted to get rid of this RFB as well. As nice as it would be to use, I can't get any magazines for it at the moment. So I think, again, we'll sell that with the foregrip and the sight on it to Peacekeeper, which again allows us a little bit more stash space when it comes to taking rewards and also putting our loot into our stash. So before we do anything else, let's just grab our rewards from Jaeger and also from Therapist, and we can also go ahead and build the sights for the Mosin. Obviously we can't put one onto the inventory right not even right now, but we can't put one into inventory full stop, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. We are now at 500k plus a little bit extra for the money in our possession, and we'll also go ahead and receive all of our meds from Therapist, meaning that our money has now gone up to just over $500,000. So the normal splints will sell back to therapist. Same with the normal painkillers. Even though we have a set of those painkillers on us currently, we do also have Vaseline, ibuprofen, we have all of that kind of good stuff for ourselves. And we also now have a couple more storage rigs, which means that we can go ahead and throw a bunch of our spare items into these, meaning again it frees up some extra space for us in our stash. Oddly logistics can go in there, we'll put this in there, and then we'll put the 2 Mosin bits in there, meaning we can then move all of this stuff up in the stash, giving us a bit more room towards the bottom end as well. The ADAR I'm going to keep hold of because I see myself using that in the future, same with the AKS-74U. However, the M700, I feel this might be worth us selling along with the flashlights. We'll keep that attached actually, solely because as nice as a weapon as it is, I just feel it's going to be more beneficial for us to go ahead and sell it for a little bit more extra room. We can always go ahead and get another one further down the line if we feel like using that particular weapon in the future, which again frees up a little bit more space for any sort of rewards or loot that we may end up finding in the raids to come. So with that being said, we are now at level 12. So in my opinion, that is a nice little, I wouldn't say error to finish it, because I don't feel that that's the way for us to go right now. I feel like we might end up going back into woods, but we'll take one of our MBS backpacks rather than our Pilgrim, and we'll also go ahead and pop the inventory Mosin back on. And then if we find the ammo for the Mosin, and we also want to top that up if we can find the rest of the ammo we have stashed away somewhere. We also want to take some backup ammo for the MP5 if we need to end up using it. So let's just go ahead and link search this. And we'll go ahead and do it. I don't really want to use green tracer because it will just give us away very easily. Whereas if we go ahead and buy, say, 100 rounds of PSO ammo, at least this way we have a decent chunk of backup ammo for the MP5. So let's just unload this real quick, slot that in, and then put that back down there. So I'm going to go back to woods, and the reason I want to go to woods is I want to try and find an Iskra to finish this task off. And then I would also like to just try and find some more loot that will go towards our hideout. And now with a backpack equipped as well, albeit a very small backpack, but a backpack equipped, it does give us a little bit more room to loot as well. If I took in a Pilgrim, A, we would stand out like a sore thumb, but B, we'll probably end up coming out with too much loot that we can actually end up putting into our stash, because as we can see, our space is very limited at this present moment in time. But one thing I am going to check is what time is it on woods. It's 9:30, so it's going into that stage where we're not going to be able to see very well. You guys won't be able to see very well, plus people can spot us with like night vision and thermals. So we're going to go daytime woods as the final raid of the episode. Once again, this particular raid is just to try and find some loot that will help us with the hideout, but also potentially find some loot that will just help us in general. Ideally, the hideout is the better option for us because we do need to start upgrading that, especially the stash, which is why I was taking the likes of the nails. I'm pretty sure that was for the stash. We need to find WD-40. We need to find a hand drill. And there's one other thing that I can't remember off the top of my head. But we're going to go into another woods raid just to see if we can come out with a little bit more loot under our belt. Also, if we can get a few more kills with the Mosin to continue to level our sniper level, that would be handy as well. Without further ado, let's jump into a woods run and see how we do. Alright. Alrighty, so we are back into woods, and it looks like we have spawned behind a scav house, which isn't quite what we're hoping for. I was looking to potentially spawn a little bit more towards the USEC camp, or even the the med station. I can't remember what I call it now. But regardless, we'll make do with the spawn that we have. So we need to be very wary. Obviously there's landmines to our left. We are going to slowly make our way over towards the USEC camp, with some potential to obviously run into a player or two over in that location. I'm also just going to scan over towards Scav House, see if there are any scavs here that we can potentially get some sniper levels on. There is a scav just here, which we just domed. Lovely. Now I don't want to go straight for the loot on that particular scav, solely because if there is some that spawned up towards where we spawned the previous wood raid, they could have heard that shot, potentially looked over towards this direction. Can't tell. I can't tell if that's a scav or if that was a pile of rubbish, or part of the pile of rubbish. Turns out it was part of the pile of rubbish, so we just wasted a motion shot for nothing, but it does mean that we were able to reload the motion to level up the sniper a little bit there. So we can't be too upset about that. Now I can't actually remember the exact location that we dropped this scav. Okay, I see him now. We are going to go ahead and see if we can grab some loot off of the said scav. So let's pop that in there real quick, just so we can take the shotgun and pop the shotgun back into the scav. Dorm 303, honestly, I can't remember if we need that. Can we not? Oh, I say can we not stack, but we can. I was just doing it the incorrect way. Let's move on to ZB014 here. See if there's any loot inside there, inside the crate as well as the duffel bag. And then we can move on to the next location, which is the USEC camp for us. I'm going to go ahead and go round the back of this wall rather than in the open field. Well, it's not really an open field, there's plenty of cover with the trees. As I said, if there is a person that spawned in the same location that we spawned in the previous raid, or previous woods raid, they do have a bit of a line of sight if we had just walked down the outside of the I was about to say fence line, but it's not really a fence, is it? It's more of a wall. We'll have a quick check inside of here. There is a motor which I know we're going to need in the future. The tube we can sell. So I'm actually not going to stack the backpacks because it's just going to be a hindrance more than anything when we try and loot, especially something like a motor. PP ammo we'll take. The other two bits we'll take, but then pop back into the crate. Just checking to see if I can see a 60 round mag that we will need for ice cream cones eventually. I've just found the other IFAK, by the way. It's already on us, which is quite funny to me, but never mind. We will leave it where it is for now. All that time spent trying to look for the IFAK that's actually on our person was not needed, but regardless, we have backup meds. That's the main thing here. So with the USEC camp, I'm looking to obviously loot the crates that are up here if we don't have them already looted by the player that's probably spawned over in that direction. But I'm just going to see if there's any movement down by checkpoint. Solely because I feel like it's worth checking every time just in case, A, if there are any scavs, but B, to see if anyone's looted the car. No one has looted it by the looks of things, so we could have a detour to checkpoint and then come back over towards USEC camp. Just in case that violet keycard is there. Even though we would need to gain the funds to actually put it on the flea market if we did find the violet, that would set us up quite nicely for the remainder of the series. Another thing that I've just thought of as well is there's no necessary requirement for us to get the hideout stuff sorted now. Because when we do end up unlocking the flea, we will have access to buy all the items we need. But that being said, if we can get some of the hideout upgraded prior to that, then we will. I swear there's so much stuff that looks like scavs and players and stuff when I'm like scanning. Oh, it was a scav. I just missed my shot. That'll be what happened there. Quick check of the car. Nothing. It's fine. Just grab the food and drink that's here and then we'll move on our way. Even though there is a filing cabinet in there that we could potentially check for keys. As we've made a little bit of noise here, even though we do have a suppressed Mosin, I don't want to be sticking around here for too long. Because even though it's suppressed, people can still hear those shots, especially if they have a good headset on. I would much rather just move away from any location that we've made a bit of noise in, just in case there are players that are looking to try and hunt PMCs for any sort of PMC killing quest. Especially if they're looking to do something like Psycho Sniper. This is a map that a fair few people will attempt that particular task on. I'm pretty sure there's also a task that you need to kill, I think it's like 3 PMCs in a raid with a bolt action, unless they've removed that or changed that particular task since the last time that I played this game. This is also quite a common spot for people to look over the USEC camp at, which is why I'm not sprinting through here and kind of looking left to right as we move, just in case there was anyone kind of sat here ADSing over towards kind of the end goal for us in terms of this raid. But before I go anywhere, we're just going to eat our beef jerky and also drink our milk. And then this way we are sorted when it comes to hydration and energy. Doing this also allows us to be a little quieter, kind of listen, see if there's any movement going on nearby. So I don't see any movement over at the USEC camp we can see. We didn't hear or see any mines go off right at the start of the raid, so there wasn't anyone that basically ran the wrong way and got injured. But at the same time, I'm not going to sprint over towards this area of the map. I am going to swap my weapon over to the MP5. Good ears will end up hearing that, unfortunately, so we need to be wary of that side of things. And whilst we move up, I am trying to listen out for footsteps myself. There is a USEC armor over there, so we will probably grab that whilst we're here. It is an upgrade to the armor we're currently running, so don't see why not. Plus, if anyone was here, this armor probably would have been taken by said PMC. But having the having the rig that we have alongside this backpack does allow us to take a few more items than we would if we were using the armoured rig that we had on previously. That's nice money, to be fair, so we'll take that. We will need the ES lamp eventually, I'm pretty sure. Don't need the crickets. The R pliers we'll need if you want to barter for the whatchamacallit, the elite pliers. Okay, I was about to say there's something in here, but it's a duffel, so I'm not too fussed about taking that. And the ammo that we just picked up and put back does give me flashbacks of when we were using the TT pistol towards the start of the series. So having the Aquamari and also the Kvass is really handy in my opinion. It does allow us the ability to keep our hydration and energy in check. M855, we will take that. We're not going to take the War Mage though. We'll leave the War Mage there. Please can I loot this thing? I'm probably not going to use this site, but it is a site that we can sell. We will go ahead and drink the pineapple juice and the milk here, just to again keep on top of hydration and energy. Then we'll move on to the crate in the corner, which I think might be a technical, but at the same time I can't remember for sure. Okay, there's nothing in there anyway. I didn't even take the time to look at what it was. Should have probably done that, to be fair. Regardless, we'll see what we have loot-wise over in this area of the USEC camp. I am very surprised that this hasn't been looted. That gas analyzer is massive. We will grab that. Do we need toilet roll? I don't think so. I think we've got toilet roll. We are just going to very quickly grab everything for XP, and then we shall move on. Just checking there, make sure no one's sat in there waiting for us to move past. So here I'm probably going to go ahead and drink our Kvass, just so we free up a little bit more room for reloading the MP5 if required. So another ration supply crate. The only thing really we would like to see out of this is an Iskra, because then we can go to Zebra016 and plant it. Oh, with that being said, an Iskra we do find. The next thing, there's a serve kit there which would be quite handy to grab. We will go ahead and think about what we're going to drop for it. So I said the other handy thing to find, or funny thing to find, would be another whatchamacallit, LEDX. Unfortunately, we aren't as lucky as we were in episode number 1 in terms of actually finding one here. But you can't have everything go your way. This grip is actually quite a nice grip to have. Get rid of that, grab this. See if there's anything nice in the weapon crate. So there's another weapon here. Flashlight, which we can't put on anything. That shift grip is huge, and there's a DVL. In that case, the Mosin's going, taking the DVL. We'll put the flashlight on the DVL, drop the tube, take the shift grip. We're going to leave the M855, and we're probably going to leave the PST rounds because there's not many of those left. So all in all, so far, This raid in terms of loot's been pretty good. We've got a gas analyzer. We've managed to find ourselves another serve kit, which means that we don't have to worry about CMSs. We can pop that back in the stash once we get out of this raid. We've also found a DVL. Unfortunately, it's not the suppressed version of the DVL, but it is a DVL nonetheless. And we've also got an Iskra which we can take with us to ZB016 in order to get the Jaeger task done as well. So the main aim right here, right here will be to head over to ZB016. I do, however, want to loot the 2 crates that are here just in case there's anything in them that we require. Don't need that WD-40, we need the smaller version of it. Someone has been here because that propane's on the floor though. That propane does not spawn there. Which begs the question, did they must have spawned up by the radio tower, skipped the UTEC camp and gone basically past the convoy, and then up this way, otherwise we would have run into them, I would imagine, if they had gone towards ZB014. Does also mean we've got to be a little bit wary because we are potentially behind someone now as well. Whilst we move through the map though, we will just check. We have M80 and a nearly full mag of it as well. Would have been nice if we had found the DVL prior to get rid of the sight, so we could at least put the sight onto the DVL prior to getting rid of it. But regardless of that, it is what it is. I'm just hoping that our Mosin isn't found, so it is suppressed. I should have taken the suppressor off of it, really. That was a mistake on my part. But it is what it is. Live and learn from those mistakes. I will remember that in the future. Just to take the attachments off of our weapons before we drop them. The downside with the DVL, of course, is where it's got the attached, like the flatbed for like a sight. It does also mean it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to use if we do see anyone in the distance. Whereas the Mosin we could have obviously used for a bit more of a long-ranged combat experience. Regardless of that though, I'm quite happy with finding the DVL. It is an upgrade to the Mosin. As I said, hopefully we'll get that Mosin back on our insurance. Even if it's not suppressed, we'll at least get back the Mosin as it is. Ah, sorry, I thought someone was sat under that tree for a second. Which is why I paused and ADS'd. But I do find on woods, as I mentioned earlier when I killed the scav over by checkpoint, that I originally thought I had shot at like a tree stump or a tree. I do find that in the woods I do end up seeing things that don't actually exist, if that makes sense. Regardless of that, we're going to walk underneath the sniper rock in case there is someone up there. Also, as I mentioned previously in our previous wood raid, this area is somewhere that scavs can spawn quite frequently. We did just hear a scav comm and it sounded like it was sniper scav at the top of the rock. So if that is the case, it does kind of mean, or kind of say to me that no one's decided to take the sniper scav out or even gone up to that location. But I don't think we're going to need to worry about food or drink for the rest of this raid. We've obviously drank and ate a fair bit to free up a bit of room, also level up our metabolism as well during the course of this raid. So I'm not too fussed if we don't find anything at this tent. Obviously last time we came here we saw a few things, we didn't actually take it anyway. There is a Tashonga here which we do have room for, so we'll go ahead and grab that just in case we need to top up on energy. Let's say our stomach gets blacked out and we drop energy quickly before being able to CMS. We have the food to then restore that energy. So I'm hoping We don't need to worry about that during the course of this particular raid. And with ZB014 being up, I'm hoping, whilst we traverse through the map here, that ZB016 is also up, meaning that once again we can just plant our Iskra in Xville. After obviously searching, there's a dead player. After obviously searching the Xville. I'm not going to worry about trying to like sit and loot that player. I'd rather tap the body for XP and move on. Because that player dying there does kind of say to me that either someone might be not necessarily camping a body, but they might still be in this general location, potentially watching the body. So I'd rather just tap it and move on. I'm pretty sure ZB016 isn't up, because I'm pretty sure it's down here just by these bushes, if memory serves correct. Yes, it is. Okay, means that we can't exfil here, but it does mean that we can at least get the plan off for our quest, which is the aim right now. We will make sure we're facing the stairs in case there is anyone that was watching the PMC's body. It looked like it was a low level PMC as well, much like ourselves. Just from the gear they had on, it looked like a starting AK, a Packer. Didn't quite see the helmet properly, but it could have been a fast MT helmet. Obviously I didn't look at the level of the PMC because I didn't really want to sit around, see if the dog tag was still there, etc. I just wanted to get in and out of that location as quickly as possible. We will take that kite actually. Probably end up eating the Tashonka prior to Xville. In fact, we might eat it before we end up getting out of the bunker. There is another tube on the floor, but we're just going to leave that where it is. I'm not too fussed about picking that up because it's just going to be something we're going to end up selling anyway. Because right now we don't have water collector, meaning we don't have the facility to use water filters and get super water, all that kind of stuff. So in my honest opinion, there's not really too much point in us grabbing the tube. There's a dead scout to our right there, which again means that either we're behind someone or they died off the start of the raid. But as we are in an open field, we're going to at least sprint to the rock formation here, which is where our stamina has actually run out. I'm just hoping that we don't have anyone kind of on this side of the map looking at the Xville, or even if we go around the side of this building, anyone sat in like the corner to our left behind the chain link fence. But this raid has been very, very quiet. Also, I don't have the best headset on, meaning that if there has been a fight across this side of the map towards the start of the raid, we weren't going to be able to hear it. But at least we do have a headset on in case there is anyone in the local proximity to us. We will be able to hear them, hopefully. But so far, so good. It looks like we're going to have a successful raid again, which means there'll be 3 out of 3 successful runs in this particular raid. Just go ahead, sit here, head down, hope that no one has seen us and pops us before we exfil, which they haven't, which means that is 3 out of 3 successful raids for this episode, which for me, I'm super, super pumped and super happy about. 2.2 XP, or 2.2k XP, couple of headshots, 1 4x shot. Can't complain about that. A gas analyzer and the Iskra planted for Jaeger, plus a few extra bits and bobs that we can try and fit into our stash. Obviously, we do have the motor, we have the new DVL. I don't actually know if I'm going to be keeping hold of the DVL, solely because I don't know if I can actually suppress this DVL. I'm going to take the M80 rounds out of the magazine, But first and foremost, let's just go ahead and hand in the tasks we completed. So we do now have the dehydration task, which I was on about before. And then we have one of our first activities, tasks even, to go into Streets of Tarkov. So Streets of Tarkov is one of those maps that I haven't yet played. Obviously it came out in the previous wipe, but I haven't played it yet. It is a map that I'm looking to try and get into and play a little bit more during the course of this series and the next season once that does come around. So I will be using a map on my second screen to be able to obviously know where I'm going for that particular map. Same can be said for the likes of Reserve and also Lighthouse. Those are two maps that I haven't really played too much of either in previous wipes, but they are maps I'm looking to learn, so we do have the whole progression of that side of things as well. And then we will hand in our gas analyzer to Therapist, which allows us to unlock Sanitary Standards Part 2, where we need another 2 gas analyzers for her as well. Regardless of that though, this DVL, as I said, we're probably not going to keep hold of it. Even though I've taken it because it is a DVL, I don't actually know if we're able to put a suppressor onto this DVL. So we are just going to unload the magazine, pop it back in, and then take the spare M80 round out of the chamber. Put the MP5 to the first slot, and let's have a look. The P's we can sell, the Agramari, we can sell the Humpback, we can barter. We can sell the PGW. So let's go ahead and do all of that stuff first. So if we sell the PGW, Agramari, and the P's to Therapist. The Humpback will put up here. The DVL we're going to sell to Peacekeeper. Now the reason I'm selling a lot of my weapons to Peacekeeper is A, when we get to level 14, if we have spent 11k with Peacekeeper, we do unlock him to level 2. And also having the dollars allows us to be able to obviously level Peacekeeper up a little bit quicker as well, meaning that we now have nearly 2k dollars in our stash to use with Peacekeeper once we get the ball rolling there. We'll keep hold of the motor, which means that we do now have vents ready for upgrade, which is absolutely massive. We will go ahead and do that now, which is another hideout upgrade smash through, which we weren't really working towards. It wasn't something that I was looking to try and get done and upgraded, but considering we have all the parts for it, obviously we are going to be using a car battery that we do need for the Therapist task, but it's the only car battery we have, which also means we're making a bit more room in our stash as well. So just go ahead even and upgrade our vents to level 2 just to get a little bit more room in our stash, but also meaning that there's more room in our lovely Pilgrim backpack that we are currently not using, meaning that we'll just go ahead and pop a bunch of items. We won't put that in there actually. That's probably something we're going to end up wanting to use fairly soon when we start modding our weapons a little bit more, but we will go ahead and chuck some stuff there. So let's go ahead and put those there. We will put the kite up here. So 303, can't actually remember if we need this key. It might be a key that we need, but off the top of my head I cannot remember. We'll put the Tashonka down here because we know we need it. We have a shift grip that we can end up using. This CMS we will go ahead and pop into this Umka, I guess is how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is what it is. We'll put our stuff in there, pliers there, and then we can put our backup meds down here, and we can also put our splint back down there as well. Do have another suppressor, as I mentioned in a previous episode. We'll try and keep hold of as many suppressors as possible, and we now have our 3 kites for when we do have the task for Therapists to go into a nighttime factory run and drop those off. Now this USEC trooper armor I'm going to take off, and I'm just going to go ahead and put on one of our 6B23 armors, just because I feel like the trooper armor is going to be better for us when we get into PvP action. And then we are going to go ahead and barter for a car medkit with the Humpback that we picked up as well. But other than that, guys, that is going to finish off this particular episode. We will just go ahead and grab our rewards from Jaeger and Therapist first and foremost, solely because I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back on and record another episode, and I don't want these rewards to run out on us, because I've had that happen before. I've signed in to like my EOD account before, like, I don't know, a week or so after completing tasks, completely forgetting to take the task rewards and then obviously losing out on them, so we don't want that to occur. But regardless of that, guys, as I said, that is going to do it for today's episode. We had 3 raids and 3 survives, which means our survival rating is now up to 60%. Currently, we haven't had too much PvP in this particular series, so next episode I might look to start doing some PvP even orientated tasks. I might try and push for the likes of Friend from the West Part 1, whilst also tying in other tasks with that as well, meaning more than likely we're going to end up going to customs in the next episode to potentially get some PvP underway. We also have stirrup to do, so we might run some factory raids for some pistols just to see if we can get some potential kills on PMCs with that. And we've also got the Tarkov shooter part 3, which is the 25 meter, I can't remember the exact distance, but we have the bolt action kills to get at a short distance as well. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please be sure to leave a like, rating and subscribe to the channel for more Tarkov and gaming content. I'll leave links into I can't even get my words out now, all my social media in the description down below. If you want to go and check that out, that would be greatly appreciated as well. I do live stream on Twitch and TikTok. Both of those links are in the description down below also, so if you want to go and if you want to drop by to either of those even whilst I am streaming, that would be greatly appreciated also. And last but not least, I do have a trading card game channel that I'm looking to upload more frequently to very soon. So if you are into trading card games, please be sure to go and check that out. Once again, the description to that will be in the description. The link to that will be in the description down below. As you can tell, I'm losing the ability to speak, which probably means it's time for me to hit the sack and go and chill in bed, which is probably exactly what I'm going to do. Regardless, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.